Hey, everybody, welcome into the building. Today, right now, I'm doing my tea time moment. But I got to tell you the truth. I'm not having tea at this moment, even though it's my tea time moment. I'm having a little bit of water, okay? Went out to dinner last night, and I just need to cleanse the body by drinking some water. But anyway, my tea time moment today is dedicated to Tyrese, the R&B singer. And the reason why I'm dedicating this video to Tyrese is because you know what? I saw a clip on the Jasmine brand, right? And this clip is from an interview that Tyrese did with Sway Universe, who has a YouTube channel with over 2.5 million followers. Okay. So thank God for the clip because I did not know about Sway and Sway's channel. But as a result of that clip, it led me to Sway's channel. I subscribed and, I got to see the Tyrese interview in its entirety. A lot of times, even all of us content creators, sometimes we get a clip, we run with that clip, and we kind of do our commentary. I almost did my commentary on that one little clip too, but something was like, go see if you can find the whole interview he did. Found the interview, watched the entire interview. I do encourage you to watch the entire interview also. I'm going to clip it down in the descriptions. And listen, I have about 5 little pieces from this interview that I want to show you. I hope it's okay because, I'm still learning the YouTube rules and ways, okay? I'm going to show you 5 little clips from this interview, give you my thoughts on the situation, and then we'll wrap this thing up. I'll tell you ahead of time that the beginning clip I want to show you, and the reason why I'm showing you is because he talks about how money doesn't buy you peace and happiness. That's the way I'm summing it up, okay? So a lot of us sometimes we think that, if I had enough money, when I get the amount of money, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. But this is proof that be happy now, whether you got a dime in the bank or $10 million in the bank. Okay, because money doesn't bring you happiness. And he has a little piece in this clip that I want to show you that'll help bring you to that realization. Now, there's another piece in the clip where, unfortunately, the ex had accused him of child abuse and all the pain and that he went through as a result of that. And listen, guys, when you have a couple, they break up and they both tell their truths, you don't know what truth is a fact, right? Because you hear that side and that side. There's this saying that says that there's 3 sides to a story. His, hers, and then the truth, okay? And sometimes we have to pull a lot of pieces together to get the truth. His ex, Samantha, told her truth. He's telling his truth. But I'll say my truth is that it's so unfortunate when couples break up and they have children and they can't seem to put aside all of their differences for the greater good of the child, because children are always the collateral damage when a couple breaks up and can't get along or can't shut their mouth so that the child doesn't get the brunt of the impact of all of their newfound hatred towards each other. Okay, there's another part where he talks about having to get on psych meds because he was so depressed because he was accused of the child abuse, and then he couldn't see his daughter for 100 days, and as a result the therapist was like, take these meds, and he talks about what those meds did to him. And that's the clip that I saw that led me to go watch the whole video, because in that clip he talks about how as a result of the mess, he had said that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith loaned him $5 million, and he said that was never true. He never even met Will Smith, and he talks about the damage of what he did to them because they was getting all these phone calls and craziness, and all because he was on these meds, right? And he kind of ends it with, let me see, I'm trying to think the other clips I want to show you. Well, I know at the very end he talks about pretty much the pain he felt when his ex-wife would come and drop the baby off, and that's when he just came to his realization, these are his thoughts, that she never loved him. She never loved him, because for you to come to the home that you shared with him for 5 years and just be able to drop the baby off like it's nothing, he said like it was a daycare, and not have no feelings, like he internalized that, like, yo, this chick don't even love me, right? But what I think sometimes, people don't realize is that it may appear like the person doesn't love you because before they left their home, or they have convinced themselves that every time they see you, you're not going to see how much pain they're in. So they put on a good front. So although I understand Tyrese thinking that, the ex-wife probably didn't care at all, it probably was that before she even went to drop the baby off, she prepped herself to the point where she was like, I'm not going to let him see that my soul is broken too. So I'm going to drop the baby off, act like all is well, get 2 blocks past the house, and then you 2 blocks past the house and you breaking down crying. So it's like if couples could break up and be real with each other, maybe the pain each one of them are going through will heal faster. But nobody kind of, when you're in that situation, you're in that situation and the situation is rough. So let me share a screen and show you these scenes I want you to see from this Tyrese interview, and then we'll chat. So let's share this screen here. Now I'm showing you this very beginning to let you know that money doesn't buy you peace and happiness. Peace and happiness is self-purchase. You have to wake up and decide that you're going to be happy. You're going to live in peace. Okay, so let's listen to this really quickly.
I can't believe that this is my life. I can't believe that these are my actual feelings. I just want to say, just speaking an analogy for a second, right? So, because I was never close to my family, even though I buried my mother February 14th, Valentine's Day last year, and I've been praying for you all night. I haven't called you, and I didn't want to text because I wanted to put my eyes on you. And that prayer that just happened in the lobby was for you and what you're carrying and feeling right now. See, the confusing part about an alpha male is that we sound strong, we look strong, we appear to be strong. Most people would say he got money, he gonna be all right.
Right.
But see, money never stopped Anthony Bourdain from killing himself. Money never stopped Kate Spade from killing herself. She had way more money than us. Now, I've never, ever, ever in my life thought about killing myself. I love.
I'm going to stop it there. The reason why I don't want to play so much is because I don't know the rules about showing other people clips that well. I don't want to play too much. I really encourage you to go to Sway Universe and watch this entire interview. But I just wanted you to hear what he said. He named a couple people that unfortunately took their own life, and they had buku dollars, tons of money. Money doesn't equal happiness, right? So that's the one point I wanted to bring up to you from his interview. This is an amazing interview. I do encourage you, go over there and watch the whole thing. Now I want to bring you up to the 13-minute mark about. Let me just bring you there. Hold on one second. Let's go 13 about here. Let me play this.
Community. But I would tell women, if you're in a marriage, the vows that you took, not to your homie, not to your friends, through thick and thin, for better, for worse, till death do us apart. I'm not dead and she's not dead. So whatever the agenda, the goal, and the mission was, She ain't here no more. And she refused to come back.
You tried to get her back?
Everything. Every first lady of every church you can think of. Taffy Dollar, Creflo Dollar's wife, Aventer Gray. This is what's crazy. Let me give y'all this. I ain't never told nobody this. So Aventer Gray and Pastor John Gray, who I love to this day, it's two of my favorite people. He got caught having an emotional affair. Never had sex with any other women. A woman, he just had an emotional affair, which is also wrong. And he repented. His wife forgave him. But when his wife, listen this way, this shit will rip you up. Samantha arranged for a therapy session with
Samantha's an ex
at my house the day she left me. She was in Samantha's office doing a therapy session because Aventer was on the brink of leaving her husband. So she said, you can't leave your husband. So she arranged a therapy session at my house with Aventer Gray in her office with Samantha's therapist. So when Aventer Gray walked out of her therapy session on the brink of leaving her husband, Samantha said, you can't leave your husband, and arranged a 4-hour therapy session with Aventer in Sam's office. Aventer Gray came out of the fucking therapy session. I got Bumblebee in my foyer in Atlanta. There was 50 boxes in the foyer. And Aventer said, what's going on? She said, I'm just grabbing a couple of things. You know, we going through some stuff. She's like, you're not leaving your husband, right? She's like, no, we just going to take a little break. So whatever.
I'm going to stop it there. So pretty much he's explaining how his ex-wife, Samantha, she saved someone else's marriage, but didn't do the work to save her own. So can you imagine how that breaks a person? You are here making sure somebody else don't leave their man, but you leaving yours. Is that not crazy? That could mess somebody up in the head big time. So his whole thing with this beautiful pain, this project that he's coming out with, and she never loved me. He's saying it's not disrespectful to the ex-wife. It's his truth, and it's not a diss record. He legit has gone through some things where he felt like the things that she did, she never loved him. And I can understand where his thought process is coming from. Again, watch this whole interview. Now, I want to go to the 27.24 mark. I want to talk about something else. Let me try to get there. Did I say 27? At 27. Let's do there.
You motherfucker. Child abuse claims. Can you imagine the vibrations in my marriage and how fucked up it became?
Okay.
Because now we're fighting and arguing and trying to figure out something that we never asked for, never seen coming. And of all days, I was accused of this shit on September 11th. Y'all know the significance of September 11th. My marriage got burned down to ground zero. So in the ashes, here we are trying to figure out how to create better vibrations and magic in our marriage that was ripped out from my ex. And not only was I 100% exonerated, when I finally got custody of my baby back, they ended up having 2 months of monitored visits over me and Sam in order for me to see my child. They never sent the monitored visits over to the motherfucker who accused me of some shit I didn't do. She needs to be monitored. So now we got monitored visits for 3 months after I finally got custody of my baby back, after 100 days, no calls, no contact. Man, I travel and I move all the time. I'm used to being away from my baby, but to take my baby away for 100 days, I was fucking miserable. So then the psychiatrist says, here's some psych meds that'll help stabilize your mood because you barely sleep and you stress the fuck out. Your firstborn was taken from you. So they gave me these psych meds.
What did they give you?
They gave.
So I want to hold on 1.2 seconds there because I don't want you to get confused. Prior to him marrying his now second ex-wife, Sam, he had a daughter with the first wife, and I want to say her name was Norma. And so I think the first wife, when she saw him in a new relationship being happy with his second wife, she all of a sudden accused him of child abuse. And now he's having to deal with those dynamics within his new marriage. And see, some people, when they're with you, then they break up with you, then they see you happy with somebody else, they get pissed off and they want to throw smoke in the game, right? And the smoke she threw in the game was to say that he was abusive to the kid. So he had to deal with that. And so he didn't get to see his daughter, his firstborn, for 100 days, right? But I do like what he did though, because he said in the paperwork it said he couldn't contact or call or whatever. He did a whole plane circling over in the sky over her school, so when she came out there to the playground at lunchtime, she could see that it said "Daddy loves you." So just like females go through stuff, men go through stuff, just like we hurt, they hurt. And I think that sometimes the world can relate to and understand when a female is going through things, but they don't get to hear or relate to when a male is going through some things. This was an amazing and a great interview. But he brought this up to also say that, with his new marriage with Sam, all the pressure that they had to get through in this marriage as a result of what they're doing. In this interview, he also talks about how during the pandemic that him and his wife Sam, they would go on Instagram Live and do their every night Friday night date nights. So they got so close during that time, only to break up after that time because he was getting back to work and doing his music. But he really felt like all of that time he spent, the alone and quality time he spent with his wife, that in spite of all of that, she still left him. And that's again why he felt like, you never loved me. But let's continue. I'm going to skip, even though it might miss some of the parts some of the points I wanted to make in this commentary to y'all. But just know that as a result of everything he went through, he was seeing a therapist. The therapist put him on these psych meds, but he's the type of person that is not used to any high level stimulus. So getting this psych med really did something to him, his body, and his personality. I'm going to move it up to the 38-minute mark. Let's try to go there, and I want to bring this point there. And forgive me, he got a mouth on him. But it's still great points regardless of the language he uses. So let's go to this
which
part.
Made me a control freak. So I'm not successful because I work hard. I'm successful because I've worked hard as hell to be the opposite of everything that I grew up in and around. And these are the fruits. So for someone who doesn't use drugs, you put some shit like Rexulti in my system, it's going to have the worst adverse effects ever. So I'm online talking about Will Smith giving me $5 million. I never talked to Will Smith. And I still haven't recovered from the damage that I did to him and his family. They didn't deserve them phone calls. I still haven't recovered from announcing that Samantha was pregnant when she wasn't at the time.
You did say that.
I did.
Yeah.
Everything that was happening, I was out of my mind. But then I go back and I look at all those posts, and it's crazy how often I was quoting Bible scriptures.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there, okay? Pretty much he's saying, listen, the whole time, no matter what, God was covering me. Y'all got to watch this interview. I don't know if I played the clip that I wanted from the 13.16 minute mark. Let me just see if I did. Hold on one second. Let's go back to that.
Community. But I would tell women,
I did.
if you're in a marriage, the vows that you took.
Yeah, I did play that. Okay, so let me go to the last part that I want you to hear, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. I think it's about 42 minutes and 53 seconds here. Now this is about the white sand.
I was so shocked and fucked up over it all. Literally,
The ex-wife sand.
This is perfect. Watch this, y'all. I'm being very literal because I want y'all to understand my life. So, front of my house is my office, and so I would send the nanny out the front door, and I had curtains, and my windows are tinted in my office, and so every time Sam would pull up to drop the baby off, I'd be standing behind the curtain and just looking. And everything about her energy was like she had literally disconnected and disassociated herself from everything that had to do with everything. We got married in this house. We made this baby in this house. We had our first dance in this house. How the fuck could you pull up to this house with so many emotional and sentimental moments that we have shared and started a family, and you pulling up, dropping the baby off like it's a fucking daycare? She would get out the car, singing like this to the baby in the car seat. She would get the baby, hand it to the nanny, and just get in the car, okay, bye, and drive the fuck off. And I would be sitting in the fucking window, just like this, looking for something. Before you get in the car, can you have a moment? Look up at the house. Look at your life and your world that we shared together. We tore the street sign down. We used to pull up in front of this house and pray in front of the house because we knew that our life and our family was going to be lived in this house. And when we got there, after we closed, we said, hold on, don't take the sign down. We want to see you pull the shovel out and take the sign. We prayed this for sale sign out the front door. And I just wanted her to give the baby to the nanny. And before she get in the car, just look up and go, then get in the car and leave.
Yeah.
Give me something that feels like we had a life in this motherfucker for 5 years. So I don't understand. So this is not a song. I don't think you ever loved me. It's not because she left me. People leave each other all the time, whether it's his fault or her fault. Who gives a fuck? Cry me a river. It was all the other shit that happened that was so heartless and so abrasive. And here I am the millionaire. I am the alpha. I do got a big ass ego and personality, but I got the biggest heart of anybody you'll ever meet. And I would have never done that to me. I would have.
Whew. Listen, guys, the hurt, the pain. I stopped showing it because I really need you to go over there and watch that entire video, okay? Right now, when I was looking at it, I think it had 35K views. That thing needs to have 1 million views because it's a lot about relationships. Encourage everybody you know to go over there and watch that entire video because that last part, although I like to joke and say the Academy Award goes to Tyrese Gibson, I'm going to be very honest with you. You can tell the hurt and the pain. He's thinking that Samantha, the ex, rolled up to that house and didn't give a darn about the whole 5 years that they spent together, the love they built, the child that came out of that love. He's thinking she never give a damn. She did not love me. But I'm going to tell you a little something different. And I mentioned it earlier. I don't think it's as deep as he think it is. And although there are people who get into relationships just to get out of it what they want, just to get the benefit they want from it, I think that when you break up with somebody, you got to protect your heart too. There's some pain there. So I really think she prepped herself before she drove up to what used to be her life, where she made that baby that she now got to just drop off to the daddy. I think she prepped herself and said, you know what? You will be strong. You're going to hold tight. All you need is 10 minutes. Say goodbye to baby, kiss the baby, hold on, pass the baby over to the nanny, get back in your car, and then the tears might have been rolling right down her face as she was driving off. He doesn't know that. And right now, those two are such in a bad place. She won't even be allowed to say that to him. Plus, he says she has her own podcast and she's over on her podcast or whatever she does. And he said she's always crying victim. I hope that Tyrese and the ex Samantha can come to some point where they're able to speak to each other and realize that they both have some pain over what happened between them. But let's get over this pain because we have a daughter together. Tyrese is with somebody new now. Said, she's the love of his life. Her name is Zelly. I want to say he mentioned. But all I can say is, guys, amazing, great, insightful interview. Go over there to Sway Universe YouTube channel. Watch the whole thing. Don't just go by the dramatic clip everybody is showing where it says, that he was out of his mind on medication, because there's more context to that particular clip. And when it comes to medication, I will say this: there's a lot of people when they get on psych meds, although they're required, they're needed, because some people would never be able to function in this world without having any psych meds. But a lot of people complain like, it may take away one thought, but it brings a whole bunch of others, right? So it's like do the benefits and the side effects weigh themselves out? Like, Kanye West is an example where you got to find the right cocktail so that you're not out in the streets just going extra crazy. Okay. Britney Spears is another example. So it's, finding the right mix so that the person, whatever they have going on in their head where they need the medication is neutralized, but it doesn't get them to a point where they're just feeling so outside of, like, having an out of body experience, not even knowing who they are. You don't want the person too drugged up so they don't know who they are, but you don't want them under medicated so they're out, like, maybe harming themselves and even others. It's a hard, balance to find, but if you work with the right doctor, you can find that right balance. So listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. I appreciate Tyrese being his authentic self, and I thought it was an amazing interview. Like I said, I'm a new fan, Sway. I found you because of people's clips from your Tyrese interview. Wish you well, everybody. The link is in the chat. Go watch the whole interview. Chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. Hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next video.